Oh my god. Hey everyone, I'm Blocky Bryson, and this right here is a Minecraft dispenser. And this is a pretty cool block in the game, because with just a redstone pulse or a click of a button, you could turn a boring old item into a ready-to-go projectile. And you can launch TNT, arrows, snowballs, and whatever you want. And in today's video, we're going to be building that dispenser in real life to create an actual working arrow shooter that gets triggered by a tripwire. It's going to be pretty fun. Oh, I think my little brother might be right over here, but at the end of this video, we're going to test this out on him to see if we could actually trap him with it. It's going to be pretty fun.
Till my heart stops beating, I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away.
So as far as how this thing is actually going to work, this is kind of what I have in my mind. So we're going to stretch a bit of string over a hallway or whatever it be, and that's just going to be a few inches up from the floor. Then on one side we're going to have it tied off to a solid point. We'll probably make this look like an actual Minecraft tripwire hook just for the fun of it, but that's going to be tied off there, and it's going to stretch across and feed through another tripwire hook. And on that side, it's going to be able just to loop through to feed on that string further. And that string's going to feed on further into our dispenser. And then at that point, what I'm thinking is that string is going to pull out a pin, which will release a springed kind of pusher. And that spring pusher will hit our arrow, shooting it out the front of the dispenser. And that's kind of everything I got so far. I'm also thinking I want to have a button on there that you could press and launch the arrow yourself. And also some pretty good resetting mechanisms, pretty much just where it's all automatic. You load that arrow back in and it's all ready to go. So that's kind of the basic plan. I'm gonna hop on my computer now and start designing up some of those 3D pieces to then 3D print, and then at that point, once I get those designed up, I'll show you guys a bit better of how this thing's actually gonna work. So it's now the next day and I've got the design here all finished up, or at least enough where we could see how to build it and also how it works. Hey guys, this is Bryson from the future, and in this clip here I did originally go through how the whole 3D model works, and the way that everything moves around, but honestly it was a little bit boring and also pretty redundant, since I'll show you how everything works as we go through building it up. So I think we could skip right ahead to when I'm in the creepy garage getting our cardboard box materials. Alright, so here we are in the creepy garage, and I remember seeing at least a decent sized cardboard box out here. I think. Let's see what we got. Thank you. Gotta watch that there's no scorpions. Alright, so yeah, that's a pretty huge one. I think we could build the whole thing, no problem with this. So let's bring it inside. Alright, so I'm no joke gonna go through this whole thing with the UV flashlight, making sure there's no scorpions on it, because there has actually been a few times where I'm carrying around a piece of wood or something, and a scorpion jumps out of it. And we are good. No scorpions, no cockroaches, nothing weird on here. So let's get to work on cutting out our first piece. Alright, and there we go. That's all we need, an 8-inch piece. Alright, so that piece that we just cut out is our gray one on the model that you see in the background. That one right here. So what I'm going to do next is build up our two brown pieces there and there. But while I'm working on those, I'm going to 3D print probably this big white one here first. So I'm going to get that model over to the slicer and we can get that going. So we got our file right here. I'm going to load that into the 3D printer. And sorry about this thing, it's making a ton of noise right now. I don't know why it's whining so much. Well, let's get our temperature up here. We'll want this to be set for PLA, so we're going to set our print head to 190 and our bed to 70. This is in Celsius. We'll leave the fan how it is. And I'm even going to crank up our speed a little bit. We could go up to 150, no problem. Alright, so let's print that one. Alright, so the thing should be pretty much fully heated up. This thing should kick into action any second here. When it's making noises, it's talking to us. Uh-oh, our filament just broke. We'll have to quickly fix that and get this print going again. So I took out our broken filament and loaded in our actual spool once again, and we got our second print going. Alright, and things are looking good, so we'll leave that for now and get back to work on the cardboard. When I just realized something pretty critical is that I was setting up my design to have this hole here in the center, and it's definitely not on the real model. It's only 4 pixels from the bottom and 8 pixels from the top, so I'm going to have to redesign it to all work with that. The good news is the piece that's printing is totally fine, so that one could keep going, but I'll get everything else adjusted for that. So I got our markings for where the hole's actually going to be and where we want this air to be shooting out. And I also got these pretty quality looking pieces right here. So let me grab the hot glue gun right here. We're going to bust this baby out and we're going to start gluing some together. Ooh. We got the $2 hot glue gun plugged in here. See if it either explodes or heats up like we actually need it to, and then we'll get gluing. And while we're waiting for this to heat up, did you know that these hot glue guns, at least these cheap ones like this, all it really is electronically is just the 2 wires coming in straight from the wall, feeding into some conductive pads that are slightly spaced apart. And then for whatever reason, the electricity jumping between those 2 contact paths that aren't actually touching creates almost pretty much a short circuit and creates a bunch of heat. So that's really all the heating element is for this, when it looks like we got some glue. So these pieces here I'm going to fold in half. So I want to start off by just going in and gluing this all together. Alright, first one done. Let's get our second one done here. And we're going to need 2 of these folded together pieces for each of the spacers. And that will give us our full thickness that we need to get this all together. Oh, come on. Alright, so now I'm going to take 2 of these folded pieces and I'm going to stick these ones together as well, and that gives us our full 1/2 inch thickness. Alright, and then the final thing I'm going to add is just another cover piece on top of this, so that way our slider could easily slide on top of it. And I actually only want one that's full like this. This one will actually need to cut in half to create, let's see if I can show it to you guys right here, to create that spacing for our lock piece. And they're not going to be winning any beauty contest or anything, but these turned out alright for how quick I made them. So these are going to glue onto our backboard here and give us that nice channel for it to slide in. Alright, and that's some pretty perfect timing with our first piece here actually exactly just finished. So let's see how that one fits inside. And with that how it is, I think we're good to glue it down. So I'm going to quickly lay down some glue here and then get that one put in place pretty quickly, lining it up with our 2 markings. And there we go, that should work. And so far so good, this thing is moving nicely. Now we just got to get this final one in place. And there you can see how our notch lines up perfectly. Our little locking piece is going to fit in between the 2 cardboard ones and then into our 3D printed piece. So yeah, let's get this final one glued down and put this all together. Alright, that is pretty dang perfect. It's able to slide all the way from piece to piece without catching badly at all. I think that's exactly what we're looking for. Ooh, I just heard that next 3D printed piece get finished up. But I just wanted to show you guys that things are looking pretty promising. If we get this piece lined up right here and make this ruler act as our locking piece, and if I start to put tension on our pusher and pull out the locking piece, it fires. So let's go grab that one that just printed and get this thing hooked up for real. So I just went and grabbed the 3D printed piece, and I'm realizing there's going to be some problems with this. So I have to cut out a hole in this back plate, the big full cardboard piece, in order for these arms to go through, so that way the button has something to lift on to pick it up. But the problem is those arms are the same thickness as the whole piece itself, so if the arms could fit through the hole, then so can the whole piece, and that makes it so it will get caught and not feed correctly in and lock this piece in place. It will want to get caught down here on the cardboard. And so I gotta come up with some way to either hold this thing in place this way, the way we want it to, or something to make it thicker so it can't fit through those same arm spots. So just gooing up a little bit of hot glue back here, I think we were able to fix it. So now what it does is it's able to get its full range, where it's able to go into the channel to lock it, go out to unlock it, and then also when it's at its highest and lowest point, it's not able to rock this way or that way once it's all sandwiched in here. So I think we're all good. So things are going pretty good once again. I just added this rubber band here to be adding pressure onto this piece, trying to lift it upwards. But as soon as that tripwire comes and pulls on it here while I'm applying pressure, it will launch that piece flying forward and will shoot out our arrow. And then all I have to do is come put our arrow back in, and as soon as it gets to its locking spot, that piece clicks back into place and locks it once again. I'm super happy with this for just a few hours of work and a bunch of cardboard scraps. Yeah, I'm just going to get to work on cutting out all of our 8-inch squares to build up our whole box, and then that will then give us the structure to mount our rubber bands onto this piece. So guys, it's pretty much my bedtime, and I gotta start getting things cleaned up in my little room here. I'll put in a shot of just how messy things have gotten, but what's really cool right now is this thing right here is working insanely good. I got pretty much all the mechanism pieces done. There's a few more things to add, but this thing is firing and working and just super awesome. So let me show you how it works. So all we gotta do is take something to push back our firing mechanism, the springy piece right back here. So I'm going to take these scissors, I'm going to push that all the way back until our thing latches in place. So there it is, latched in place. You can see these rubber bands are under stress right now, wanting to launch that piece forward. So then I'm going to put my arrow in place, which right now is just a hot glue stick. And then at that point, this thing is primed and ready. So there's two different ways to fire it. There's our button up on top, which you can see is just the two pegs. We'll put an actual decorative Minecraft button on here. And then there's our tripwire. So one of the things I still need to add on the inside is the thing that routes it to the back of it, because since I had to move the firing spot down, I kind of lost a little bit of space and I need to make that piece smaller now. So I'll work on that, but I gotta show you guys this thing firing. So I'm gonna pull on the string right here and shoot it at the camera, but check it out. And man, this thing fires. It's not crazy, but it shoots a few feet, probably about 6 or 8 feet or so. I mean, it's not bad. There it is, it locks in place all by itself. And now this time I'm going to load the ammo back in, and I'm going to press our button this time. I'll do a side shot this time. So here we go, I'm going to press the button. Oh man, this thing is cool. It's time to go to sleep. I'm going to get stuff cleaned up, and I'll be back tomorrow to finish our routing mechanism, and then really just kind of seal this thing up, get our button on top of here, and start adding all the pieces that's going to make this look like a real Minecraft dispenser. But yeah, so happy with the mechanics of this thing. Cannot believe how well it's turning out. Hey guys, it's the next day and I've just tested everything out on here once again, and everything is still looking really good. So the next thing I'm going to do is get our front cover cut out with the hole that we need for the arrow, and also our top cover with the hole that we need for the button. Alright, so here's our button looking pretty good. You're able to press it. You got the cover that could go on top of it, and you're still able to press it right here. So what I want to do next is print out our cover for this button to make it actually look like a stone button. And then that way we could have that all done, and we could get our cover over top of it without having to worry about it anymore. So I wasn't seeing any button textures that I could just download, so I opened up Minecraft here, and we were just going to get our own textures. I'll point you guys right here. I got this command that's going to teleport us perfectly into place, hopefully at least. Hey, that works. And then that way we could get a perfect screenshot of the button, and I'll do the same similar type of thing for the side view. Here's what I was able to design up, and this thing should be 100% accurate to size. So I'm just going to print this out and see if it fits on our little cardboard piece. So here's our printed out button, and this thing is fitting pretty perfect. One thing I should have considered is making the length a little bit longer here so it covers up our cardboard fully, but it should still work. So let's get that one glued on. look at that. That looks like a real Minecraft button. Alright, and that looks pretty perfect. But what I want to do next is actually print out our front of the dispenser face here. So that way we could put that on and cut out our hole perfectly where it needs to be for our arrow to shoot out. So I got a pretty good print here of the dispenser face on some photo paper. Let me check real quick that our dimensions all look good here. Oh, and they look perfect. Alright, so now I just need to get the hole cut out for our arrow, which it looks like all we need to do is cut out these 4 center pixels, and I think we're good to go. And that right there looks pretty good. Alright, this is pretty cool. We'll take our same hot glue stick, put it in, and now we press on the button up here, and man, that's awesome. So I just went ahead and added on the final photo papers that we need to get this thing all wrapped up. And guys, check this thing out. We're ready to go, Dispenser. Look at that button up on top there. This thing is looking nice. And still everything's working on side. We'll press the Minecraft button here. Oh my god. Okay, so what we gotta do next is get a 3D printed arrow to go in this thing. A nice Minecraft 3D printed arrow. And then we just gotta get that real finished tripwire on here, and this thing is ready to go. I got the... I'm trying to record on there and all of a sudden... I think that the explosions have finally stopped outside, so I could show you guys the little arrow I printed. This is the biggest we can make to make it exactly to Minecraft scale, with it still being able to fit in the little channel. I'm printing a slightly bigger one right now to see if that will work, but we gotta test this arrow out, and there's only one way to do it. So we'll load that up inside here, and let's see. Oh yeah, this thing is good. It is time, guys. My little brothers are out rock climbing right now, so it's the perfect chance to go set up the dispenser at the entrance of my room. On a kind of just one cool thing I want to show you guys is you might even hear right now, it's pretty loud, but check out what I just got at Goodwill. So here it is. It was just too cool to pass up. The guy was just putting out stuff and he just put this one out, and it was $20. I figured it was worth a try, and this thing is actually working. It's super slow though and makes a decent amount of noise, but still so cool for $20. So nothing too crazy here, but this is the entrance. I think we'll have the dispenser right there. Then that string will loop out the back of the dispenser, behind the desk, and over to this base of the bed. So I just tied some fishing line, and you could just barely see that right there. And that fishing line is tying to this orange rope right there, and the orange rope is tied onto the bed. So when we push the treasure chest in place, that is almost 100% hidden away. Just tuck back that orange rope there. And now we just gotta string this fishing line over here and up the desk. And with the fishing line routed where we need it, I'm now going to take some of this sticky Velcro and I'm going to add one side to the string on our dispenser and the other side to our fishing line. So that way if anybody gets their foot caught on the line, they won't cut it off, trip, or tear out the internals of our dispenser. I've been working on this tripwire system for a little bit now, and I'm worried they might be back kind of soon. It's not perfect. There's quite a bit of resistance to get this string to actually activate it, because it has to make one internal turn in the dispenser, then one behind the desk, then one underneath the desk across to here, and those 3 turns added up create quite a bit of drag. But here's what I got so far. So all you have to do is walk across here, and that one was actually really good. So yeah, let's get that thing loaded back in. I think that's because that one I barely got to get it to lock, so it was really ready to trigger, but let's see if we can get this going again. Okay, let's do another test run. I'm really going to try to act like I'm just walking in normally and not even pay attention to it. And that time it was too low. Oh, definitely too low. I got to get the string adjusted up. Let's try that again. Walk right in. And our Velcro pulled out since we pulled it so hard, and our arrow's still shot. So that seems pretty good. I'm just going to keep on testing this thing until I can make sure that it's going to be working on our real final shot. So then here's a better view of our whole system. We got the dispenser there, and that's held in place with this mini anvil. Then the string is going out the back, wrapping around that remote control, the black piece right there, to give it a bit easier of a time going around that corner. And that one is held in place with a double-sided axe head. So then our string feeds down from there into our Velcro piece, and I had to get the right amount of Velcro on this, so it's not so strong that it rips out the internals of the dispenser, but not so weak that it doesn't trigger it. So then from there it transitions into our fishing line, which you could barely see, and that wraps around this little bowling pin on a pedestal, and then the fishing line goes all the way across the floor. You could just barely see it right there, and feeds around the bed, and then that ties off right there where I could get the proper tension on this thing. So now whenever you go and trip the tripwire, it fires. I think this thing should work. Alright guys, everything is ready to go. I got stuff kind of put back a little bit more to normal, got the lights out because that's how it would normally be, and we got our camera shot all set up. And I just tested it once again, made sure the camera shot looked good, so this thing should go perfectly. And one other thing is the 3D printer that I got from Goodwill is printing out some pretty decent prints. And yeah, that's awesome. So I'm gonna sit here, wait around for them to show up, then I'll come jump and get the camera going, and we'll see if we could catch them in our trap. Guys, they're here. I've been waiting for hours, but they're finally here. Oh my god, they're definitely here. I don't know if they're gonna come in right away, but we need to be ready for this. Oh my god. Alright, come look at the 3D printer. The foodie printer? Oh yeah, we got him. Oh my god, you don't even know how long I've been waiting. Wait, we gotta get dressed in that. Let's see, we gotta get it set up. It's really hard to set up right now. It's all set up. I don't know if it's up there.
Oh, that's cute.
I think you might be coming.
Set up. Is that why you
Trust me, come look at the oh yeah, got another one.
Oh, that hurt.
So that took absolutely forever to wait for, but it was so worth it. We got my first brother, no problem. My second brother said that when he walked over, it cut into his ankles, but our Velcro did detach. I think I just had it on a little bit extra secure, because I wanted to make sure it at least triggered. But that was pretty awesome. I think that's all we got for the video. I could not believe how well that thing turned out, and how well just everything worked, how reliably and easy it was to trigger everything. So I'm pretty proud of myself on this one, and yeah, just definitely a lot of fun. I had a few other projects kind of like this one in mind that I might start working on if there's any interest in this video. But I do want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And then just one other funny thing is that entire time waiting, I actually was walking through here a few times, and I did totally forget about it 1 or 2 times going through, and I tripped it, and it got me, so that thing was definitely working how it should. Yeah, see you guys.
Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face.